You guys are tuned to the Watch Podcast with your hosts, owner-operator, Eric Huggins, Night Watch Patrol. We are the light in the dark. Today on episode 38, not always sunny in Philly. Now, there's been some news stories involving a security company, a security guard involved in a fatal shooting that involved one suspect and the guard. Now, I'm going to play the video for you guys to see, and you guys tell me what your guys' thought process is. So, I'm going to play it right now.
Philadelphia police say an argument over a parked truck led to a deadly shooting at a gas station in Fairmount. It happened just after 7 o'clock last night at the Phillips 66 gas station there in the 900 block of College Avenue. Surveillance video shows 39-year-old Don Harrison Jr. walking into the gas station. An armed guard then tells him to leave and is seen pushing him. Then there's a heated exchange before both men point guns and the shooting starts. Harrison was shot and killed here. The 30-year-old security guard was shot in the leg. At this point, there have not been any charges filed. The DA's office is still investigating.
Okay, so I come back, you look at the video. Now we can clearly see that there's a security guard that's inside of the establishment inside the gas station. Now, originally, what the news had said that this whole incident revolved around a subject that was parked improperly, and the security guard went out there to go correct their driving behaviors or whatever, and told him to go park a certain way. The guy, gave him the go pound sand, attitude, and the security guard felt some type of way. Now the security guard, I'm assuming, walked back inside the store because he saw the anticipation of the suspect. He saw that he was going to walk inside the gas station. The security guard said, "Oh no, this guy's not walking inside. This guy didn't want to follow my commands. I'm going to tell him he cannot be here." So the subject comes inside, kind of guns blazing. You can see the video where he's kind of coming in a little fast, right, a little hot. Security guard comes in, steps right there. He's already anticipating on this subject to come out. All right, you can see where he's positioned at. You can see that he's ready for violence. If you look at it, so the guy comes in. Security guard immediately walks up to the subject and puts his hand on his chest. Tells him to back away. Now, let's take a step back. You're just a regular person. You're walking inside of a store, a convenience store, and you got somebody that put their hands on you. You don't even know who they are. This shirt may say security. It may say S.I.T.E Agents, State Agents, whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact that someone put their hands on your chest, you're going to feel different. You're going to feel some type of way. Okay? I don't want anybody putting their hands on me for no apparent reason. Okay? So I would say the suspect felt some type of way, where the security guard decided, you know what, I'm putting my hands back up, sir. And sometimes that's not in the best. Sometimes that's not the best way of handling situations when they've already kind of sparked a little bit. Okay, so so what happens is I start to do a little more research, on this guy. Couldn't find out the suspect was identified. This incident happened at the Fairmount section gas station it landed on a Tuesday, and if I'm following the story correctly, it looks like Looks like the security guard shot and killed the suspect. At the end of, I guess, when the suspect went to the hospital, he was already pronounced dead. The security guard, sustained a leg injury from the fire. And he goes home. He goes to the hospital for a day or so, and after that, he goes home. Good for him. Congratulations to him. So, but there's something in this video where it just really rubbed me the wrong way. The fact that the suspect comes inside, the security guard's already kind of anticipating on him coming in. Security guard puts his hand on his chest. Okay, it doesn't matter what type of person you are, whether you carry firearms, whether you don't carry firearms. The fact that someone puts their hands on you, it's gonna active. It's like a it's like an act of aggression. Okay, regardless whatever happened, should the security guard have put his hands on the suspect? Okay, it's a good question. It's a gray area, because at the end of the day, the suspect had a gun on him. So it makes the security guard look better. But let's backtrack on this. Let's say the suspect did not have a firearm on him, and the security guard put his hand out. The suspect, started to fire on him a little bit, waving his arms a little bit more, and then the security guard points his firearm at the suspect and shoots him. Because when I look at the video, it looks like the security guard had already had his firearm unholstered. Was already ready to aim and fire. That's the video. I already saw him pulling out his stuff. I think the security guard, I hope they find another angle. But if I'm looking at the video, the security guard points his firearm out first, but has it at maybe resting position, like here. But he still points out first, which I would believe would make anybody feel a little unsafe. And the suspect shot, fired around. Now, this security company did some more research on him, and I was like, man, what kind of security would how does this happen? At a gas station, where a security guard ends up ending someone else's life. And then I went back and looked at who this company was. It was the S.I.T.E Pennsylvania State Agents, and Mr. Andre Boyer states, the chief. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me put a title to his name. Chief Andre Boyer says, "We're not security. We're Pennsylvania State Agents.
We're not security. We're Pennsylvania State Agents. And we're different from security. Security guards, those are the guys that stand at the door or stand around and walk through the mall when something goes down."
I don't know what the hell that means. Okay. But this is my problem with law enforcement, prior law enforcement working in the security capacity. They don't want to be identified as security. They say, no, we're protection. We're state agents. We're this, we're that. At the end of the day, you guys are security. If you're not working in a law enforcement capacity, you are security. Mr. Boyd needs to understand that he's no longer a police officer and he is just a security guard. And you know what? If he wants to make himself a little bit better and a little more empowered, he can say, you know what? We are security officers. But at the end of the day, you're not a state agent. You're a goddamn security guard, security officer, if that's what you want to be called. And you can, at the end of the day, the security guard gets shot in the foot, in the leg. Guess what? He does not get paid for the time that he's off unless he files for disability. If you work in a law enforcement capacity, you're on admin leave. I want to know, is this guard on admin leave while the investigation's pending, where he's still getting paid and compensated for the time that he's supposed to be at the gas station? I highly like to say not. Don't let these law enforcement officers who failed their way through law enforcement and decide to take on a job working security confuse you from security versus law enforcement. In the state of California, law enforcement officers receive 664 hours of training versus a security guard, security officer, working only 40 hours of training. Is there a difference? Absolutely. You can tell. You can tell by the way the security officers, security guards act versus law enforcement officers. You can see that there's, sometimes, not all, but a lot of times you can see, there's 664 hours of training versus this guy working 40 hours to be a security guard, security officer. I only imagine that in Pennsylvania, it's probably more unregulated than California is, so they probably have less training than needed for the job. Is this Mr. Boyer going to hire all former law enforcement? Absolutely not, because he can't. So when I say this, when I see this guard, the security guard, I look at it and I'm like, okay, well, who owns the security company? It's a goddamn former police officer. It's not the same anymore. And when you see the interview, you see the guy, you see the security guard, the security Mr. Boyer, state agent, whatever the hell he wants to be called. Chief, I don't know. Walking around in a goddamn AR-14. What type of vibe are you going to give to the people that are going to the gas station? And they're going to say, oh, I feel so much safer. Do you really? If I go to a gas station and I see a security guard, a state agent in front of a gas pump with AR-15, I would say, you know what? I'm probably going to go to one down the street. This one looks a little unsafe. I feel unsafe. So anyone that's saying they feel safer, that there's an armed security guard walking around with a goddamn AR-14, you're a goddamn liar. I'm sorry. If you see crime somewhere, people avoid crime. When they say, oh, wow, that place is ghetto, no one goes there. The only time someone goes to a ghetto gas station is when the gas prices are a lot cheaper than everywhere else in the town or the city or the state. Okay, every city has a ghetto gas station. Does every ghetto gas station need armed security walking around AR-15s? Absolutely not. If you cannot handle people verbally, then maybe you're in the goddamn wrong job. I'm sorry. I know I feel like I'm yelling and I'm over trying to tell these people how to do their job. I don't live in Philadelphia, but I can tell you, you go to San Francisco, you go to Bay Area, you go to LA, it's the same goddamn people. Okay? I think I see more gang-related videos in LA than I see in Philadelphia. Okay? You tell me what gang was featured on some of those videos, on some of those series. And you tell me how many gangs were featured on there, and then we can talk. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, Philly's bad. But if you can't verbally handle a conversation, sometimes a difficult conversation, then you're in the goddamn wrong job. And people see a security presence, I'm sorry. I keep calling them security. State agents. If someone sees a state agent who's not walking around with a goddamn AR-15, but is just in uniform, they may treat the gas station a little bit better. If you walking around with the rifle, is it going to change the trajectory of an incident? Sometimes. All the time, I'd say. But when I look at this incident, and I see the mannerism of the security guard, I say, you know what? I'm not saying that this 39-year-old man had the authority, authorization to pull out his firearm and shoot the security guard out of his own safety. I would say I'd be lying. But why did he get to that point where he had to escalate to the point where he has to feel like he has to pull out his firearm? Okay. I'm already looking at the security guard. I see his manner. I see where his hands going. I see him from behind, but I can see where his hands are moving, his hands were changing. And at the same time as his hands are changing, here comes a guy pulling out the firearm. Okay? So, I would say one thing that if I did not see, if I'm not known to this business, or I'm just an onlooker, I'd say the security guard did a damn good job in responding to this incident. But if I'm looking at it in a security standpoint, and a person that carries a firearm and carries rifles as well, well, not necessarily on the job, but at the shooting range, I would say, you know what, this guy actually he actually armed himself first. We go back to the Wild Wild West days. You go back here, race for the sky. Whoever pulls out first, the next person goes second. Security guard pulled out first. Okay? You're not going to convince me. Otherwise, I'm looking at his hand gestures. I'm looking at his hand movements. He pulled out first. Acts of aggression. The opposing side saw that as a threat. Pulled out his firearm. Unfortunately, he died for it. Now, if he was here to tell the story, he would say the security guard pulled out first. That's why I got scared. I got freaked out for my life. Now, can we turn it into a civil issue? Not really. You see the guy pulling out a firearm first, so what argument is there? But if you're looking at the hand movement from the security guard, where he's going, where he's reaching, you say, you know what, this guy's already showing acts of aggression. And I hope that this law enforcement or detectives or somebody that's investigating this case sees that there is an issue with this issue. I've worked at gas stations before. Okay, I've worked at some really, really horrible gas stations. And I'll tell you this, there are people that do park inappropriately. But how long are they at a gas station for? 5, 10 minutes. Is that enough time for you to go out and put your firearm on somebody and say, hey, get the hell out of here? No. The guy could easily move this, give him 5 minutes. If he's being difficult, say, you know what, sir? Just move your vehicle, get the hell out of here. I don't want to see you here. I don't want to see you here again. And then you can attach to a trespass to that. But if I'm looking at this, if you're going to argue over a parking space or where they're parked at, hey, I'm sorry, guys. That's first world problems. People park in front of my apartment complex inappropriately all the time. Now, if I would sit there and go respond to every person parking inappropriately, yeah, I guess I'd probably get involved in the shooting myself. Especially at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I believe this one happened at 7 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening. I don't know. But if I'm looking at this, Mr. Boyd, your whole operation you have going on, it's not right. Okay? Police officers, this is my own gosh dang vibe and feeling towards ex-law enforcement officers transitioning into security. Ex-law enforcement officers cannot do work as police officers anymore. They're not in that category. Now there's just security guards. So if you're a security guard, your main priority are private properties. I'm sorry, I understand that Philadelphia, they got rid of a lot of police officers. A lot of police officers are entering in retirement now. Now they can't get enough law enforcement officers to apply. But it doesn't mean that you start a security company and start your own little faction. It's not how it works. Security, law enforcement. 2 different entities. Yes, we're the little brother to the big brother. And that's why I have a problem with law enforcement officers that are retiring and decide to say, you know what, we're going to go into the private sector. I'm sorry, it's not the same thing as law enforcement. Okay? It's not how it works. If you're a security guard, security officer, state agent, whatever the hell you want to call yourself, you are here. Law enforcement is here. Okay? Here. Sorry. Higher. Okay? You're at the bottom of the totem pole. Just the other day, I was on the phone with dispatcher. She says, "Why are you out of breath?" I said, "Because I'm involved in the foot pursuit." She says, why are you running? Why are you chasing that person? Huh? Well, I don't know. Person's on my property. You know? The thing that the problem with Mr. Boyer is that he doesn't like to identify himself as security. And you know what? You're great. I get it. Our name is Night's Watch Patrol. Doesn't say security in there. But if you look at our badges or our patches, it does say security because we have to identify ourselves as security because that's who we are. At the end of the day, I don't care. If someone looks at me and says, "Hey, are you a patrol officer?" Yes. Are you a security guard? Yes. Are you a state agent? Yes. Are you a security guard state agent? No. That's what Mr. Andre Boyer is trying to tell people, that he's not a security guard, not a security officer, he's a state agent. Now, if you're saying you're a state agent, now you're identifying yourself in the wrong entity. Okay? Now you're not identifying yourself as security. You're saying I'm a state agent. Essentially, you're saying I'm law enforcement. So are you law enforcement or are you security? You tell me. I'm curious. We're all curious to know. You can't be going around saying, yeah, we're state agents. No. Security, law enforcement. Two different entities. Tell me. Gosh dang it, I'm all out of time. Got me all fired up right now. My face is all red right now. Yeah, I just I was working on my office right now. I had an interview today. And so I'm like right now I'm like, oh, I'm trying to move things a little bit differently. So if you guys notice that things are a little bit different, that's because that's the why. that is the why to your question. Man, it's been great. I'm glad I was able to talk about this because I had to do some more research and I was like, and I saw S.I.T.E Pennsylvania S.I.T E State Agents, and I said, oh, that's that goddamn guy in the damn AR-15 shotgun, whatever the hell he's in. I was like, that guy. I had already knew when I saw him on he was on Times Magazine, guys. Times Magazine. Goddamn stud, right? And when I see people like that walking around with the goddamn AR-15 and the goddamn weird cheap cap that he's wearing, I can only see violence. I don't see a thing where there's the de-escalation. No, de-escalation doesn't exist with this company, as you can see. And I was waiting for a matter of time before there become an issue where someone gets killed. And this is the damn time. Wow. Sometimes I hate my job. Sometimes I wish we had a little bit more powers. But then I look at people like this and they take their powers a little bit too gung-ho. And that's why security gets the rep that we get. Because you got people like this, Mr. Andre Boyd, acting out of scope of his job. He thinks he's a state agent. He's retired law enforcement. You don't work in law enforcement anymore, my man. You're a security guard, security officer, whatever you want to identify yourself as. But as a state agent or whatever you want to call yourself, I'm sorry, you're a goddamn security guard. Okay? How they identified this knucklehead that killed this gentleman? Yeah, knucklehead. They call him security guard. So what, Mr. Andre Boyd, why don't you go over there on social media and you guys go correct the news vocabulary and say that's not a security guard, that's a state agent. You tell me that. You go tell them that. And you see how the public feels about that. See if they think the same thing. I don't know. But just so you know, the family will go after him for a wrongful death. They will be sued, and then we'll see how he feels after that. And then, if he ever wants to jump on a podcast, hell, I fly out there myself. You let me know. Anyway, guys, talking more. Gosh dang it. If you guys like the podcast, like, share, subscribe. Send it to a friend. Send it to your mom. Send it to your dad. I don't give a damn. Send it to somebody. I'm doing this stuff. This is all free will. I'm not getting paid for any of this. I do it because I have a passion for the job. And I want to continue to learn more about the industry. I want to continue to learn more about people. And when I see things like this, I want to help correct some of the incidents, and I want to shed some more light. The news can only do so much. This knucklehead, Mr. Boyd, Chief Boyd, can only say so much before it becomes reality that they are just goddamn security guards working at a goddamn gas station. Okay, been there, done that. Whatever. If you guys have any questions, concerns, you guys can find us on Instagram at Night's Watch Patrol. At the bottom, description at the bottom. And if you guys happen to really give a damn, you guys can check out our LinkedIn. If you guys go into our Instagram page, you guys can see all of our outlets, social media outlets. You guys can like, share, whatever. I don't care. If you guys have any comments, send me a message. You get any questions, concerns, send me a message, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Man, yeah, this was great. I'm glad I did this. I've been waiting to do this for some time. So I'm glad I was able to do this and share my thoughts and share my experience with you guys. And thanks for guys for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, concerns, like I said, send me a link. Otherwise, love God, love each other. Let's go change the world!
Watching you, watching me.